Hi, my name is Beth Beckman on behalf of the Honors Program. Thank you for coming to hear this presentation from Rachel Weeder. Her mentor has been Dr. Rachel Neal, and the title of her presentation is Defying the School to Prison Pipeline, Examining Restorative Justice Practices in School. Please welcome Rachel.
Examining restorative justice in terms of the school pipeline. So first, I kind of want to explain the genealogy of this project. So I've been confounded by this question of justice for the past several years, particularly after reading Brian Stevenson's work, Just Mercy, which was the freshman common read several years ago. And oftentimes when we talk about justice as though it's a distinct, tangible thing. But it's important to acknowledge how philosophical and abstract justice can be. So take a second to consider your own conception of justice. Justice for whom? What does it look like? Is it incarceration? Is it time out? Is it community service? Is it beratement, exile, other? Is it consistently applied? Who decides the societal definitions of justice and who gets that justice? Who actually executes and delivers that justice? And then what's the aftermath? Is justice truly achieved? So to give you some background on my project, I decided to examine justice through a more interdisciplinary lens, and I wanted to focus on the school to prison pipeline in particular. So the school to prison pipeline refers to a system of policies and practices in schools that make it more likely that students will face criminal involvement rather than face criminal involvement with juvenile courts rather than attain a quality education. So a term that's often used when talking about the school to prison pipeline is zero tolerance. And so zero tolerance is when students commit infractions, instead of giving them any leniency, there's already expulsion and removal from the classroom. So for example, in the 2011-2012 academic school year in the U.S., 3.5 million students experienced in-school detention, 1.9 million students were suspended for at least one day, 1.6 million students were suspended more than one time, and 1,300,000 students were expelled. And so it's exclusionary practices like these that directly expose students to the criminal justice system, or the removal from the classroom makes it more likely that they will be exposed to the criminal justice system. So when discussing justice today and the school prison pipeline, I want you to refer back to our larger criminal justice system, which is the model of zero tolerance, excessive, and punitive and exclusionary punishment that also exists in our public schools. I don't have time to discuss this aspect today, but the school prison pipeline is not only a reflection of our larger criminal justice system, but it's also a reflection of larger federal education policies that help morph and shape the regulations that sustain this system. So to give you a background on these punitive strategies and to give you a more tangible sense of what does that look like to have punitive strategies when you walk into a public school. So it looks like student resource officers, which are police officers designated in public schools. It looks like surveillance cameras, metal detectors, drug sniffing police dogs, drug tests, and interrogations. It also looks like excessive suspensions and expulsions for infractions that remove students from the classroom that make it more likely that students will experience exposure to the criminal justice system. Further, these punitive strategies disproportionately affect minority students, particularly students of color, LGBTQ+ youth, students with disabilities, students with lower socioeconomic status to enter this pipeline. So one alternative to punitive strategies is restorative justice. Restorative justice is an old practice dating back to many indigenous communities, particularly the Aborigine in Australia. It's the oldest means of non-violent conflict resolution. And what makes it distinct is that it involves three different stakeholders: the victim, offender, and the community, to have an opportunity to voice their opinions in the process of restoration. So in the mid-1970s, restorative justice really took a foothold in the U.S., but was modified into more broad restorative practices centered on the principles of reparation and reconciliation. It had some traction in the criminal justice system, but not a lot of financial backing. More contemporary restorative justice practices come from Howard Zier and his book, The Little Book of Restorative Justice, which was written in 2002. He frames restorative practices in regards to three principles: harms and needs, obligations to put things right, and three, These practices have been adopted by different organizations and institutions that wish to implement restorative practices. In regards to restorative justice and practices in schools, it is intended to work not only with students, but their families, their peers, their teachers, and whole communities to address infractions. Current research has shown positive results such as resolving conflict, promoting academic achievement, and addressing school safety. Further, it is shown to reduce recidivism and resentment, including the whole community, and by extension, reducing the school line. So this sort of leads me to the question I asked last spring in formulating my research question. What are the merits of restorative justice as an alternative disciplinary strategy to zero tolerance punitive strategies? For my methodology, I conducted interviews through propulsive sampling, which is a non-random sampling of restorative justice organizations. My sample was based on 3 different criteria. First, organizations based in the United States. Second, organizations that work in K-12 public schools, and organizations that use restorative justice and restorative purposes when they're working in schools. I selected restorative justice programs with websites about their programs, so I could obtain that contact info and reach out to them. Overall, there were 9 participants for whom I've assigned pseudonyms throughout this presentation. After I conducted these interviews, I coded them, and coding in the social sciences is a process of looking for trends and themes in different interviews, and that turns into my findings. So for my sample, I had 9 different organizations, like I said. So 4 of them worked in the West, 3 of them worked in the Midwest, 2 worked in the Northeast, and none of them worked on the South. So after I conducted all these interviews, I had a few emerging themes. The first theme that was cited by a lot of the participants was how they define restorative justice, and many cited their definition as responding to harm and community building. And so throughout this presentation, you'll see different names and the pseudonyms for the people I interviewed. So the first person, Ryan, stated that restorative justice to me, in a nutshell, is funny when you think about it. It's not necessarily putting things back, but to bring into existence. And that's something, to me, it denotes almost a new life, bringing back into existence, like a rebirth or a new life. So it doesn't necessarily restoring to something or to something that's already been there, but to create something new. Yasmin shared that it's a whole cultural shift on A, how we see community, and B, how we respond to harm and conflict when it does come up. The second theme that emerged was how restorative justice should be implemented in schools, which primarily describes a whole school approach and a whole community investment. So Sarah explained, ideally it's everybody. It's the classroom teachers, it's cafeteria workers, it's custodial staff, it's administrators, counselors, social workers, all the admin folk, including obviously principals, but all the way up through superintendents. The third theme that came up was the overall benefits of restorative justice, which was cited as a better community environment and reduced incidents and recidivism. So Nicholas shared his experience by explaining how restorative justice reduced rates of incidents, reduced rates of recidivism and violations, which improves the school climate and culture, and improves the advancement of relationships between individuals. Nicole shared that suspension and expulsion rates have decreased, referrals to administration or to outside of the classroom have decreased, teacher retention has increased, and academics have gotten stronger. The fourth theme that came up was limitations of restorative justice, which kind of breaks down into 3 categories, so we're going to go through that together. The first limitation that came up was the lack of resources organizations and communities have to effectively implement restorative justice in schools. So Jocelyn simply put, it does take time, resources, finances, and personnel to have restorative justice practices in communities. The second limitation was the lack of investment in the implementation process. So Helen explained, when people are doing it as restorative justice, as an add-on, or people are doing it with limited training, when people see it as a set of tools rather than a set of principles and values, you can hold a quote-unquote restorative conference or hold a circle and still do it in a punitive way. The last limitation is serious offenses. And for all the other limitations, the participants themselves described the limitation, but I personally identified this as a limitation that came up for several participants because it was incongruent with the initial definition of restorative justice they could provide, which was restoring harm and creating community. So Sarah stated, if it's a serious crime, a kid brings it back to school, then yes, they should be suspended. Nicole echoes this when she says, when there are drugs, it generally has to go through the legal process, and when there are weapons. And I just think it's an interesting finding because it's just so out of line with the holistic nature in responding to harm, and this is a harm, and this gets excluded. So in conclusion, the school-to-prison pipeline permeates much of the public education system in the U.S., affecting all students, especially those of marginalized identities. Restorative justice is promising as one means to mitigate the pipeline, but they're still lacking of resources, support, and investment for it to be completely and fully implemented in communities. For some additional recommendations for research, I think a quantitative examination that reviews the rates of crime and recidivism in schools over a duration of time would be really helpful. Data on restorative justice, specifically on reduction of crime and recidivism for marginalized youth identities, and data on how school handles different types of offenses, particularly serious offenses, is needed in order to review the holistic nature of restorative justice and if restorative practices in schools can be effective, if not inclusive of all crimes. So, kind of back to a little like academically, if you'll indulge me for a second. It's kind of like the now what of this project. So a little over a year ago when I was coming up with this project, I was talking to Dr. Rodenford, and he encouraged me to use this past year to create a project I could use after graduation. And a little overwhelmed at the time. I couldn't tell you how this idea of a project would impact what I want to do in the future. And so as I progressed this project, and considering my time overall here at St. Ed's, I realized I was given a lot of opportunities to learn through the honors program and create social justice-oriented research and be involved in a lot of social justice things on campus. But I also want to acknowledge how knowledge and all the things you hear today is powerful when you act on it. So, in taking action, in being civically engaged, and creating active change, I hope that if you're interested in this topic, this will springboard you to take action. We're still in session in the Capitol, so go vote, or go call your representatives. Get involved in organizations, volunteer, and I realized that that's sort of the takeaway I wanted to get from this project, is that it's not just a senior presentation, it's a lifelong action. And so beyond that call to action, and back to my initial question of what is justice, what am I going to do with this? I don't know if there's a clear definition of justice, but I've come to understand a couple of things over my time here at St. Ed's. First, justice varies, as Dr. Neal would say, over space and place. Second, it's important to call out how we criminalize bodies over actions. And three, how easy it is to undermine the dignity and humanity of others in the name of justice. And this project allowed me to see these systems at work, but I'd like to believe there's a capacity for change in these systems. So I'd like to leave you with a quote from a participant that gives me hope for this change. It may be modifying our definition of justice, as we don't get rid of people, we throw them away and move on. We try to repair, learn, and grow from them. So, special thanks to Dr. Neal, who's not only mentored me for the past year on this thesis project, but has mentored me since the day I arrived on this campus. For Dr. Rodenford, who constantly reminds me to interact with space as a servant leader. For Dr. Jefferson, who is critical to the formation of this project and challenges me to ask impossible questions and seek those answers anyway. To all the wonderful programs and offices that push me to grow not only as a better student, but also as a better leader, as here, and anyone who's participated in seeking justice.
We have time for some questions.
So you mentioned briefly that one of the arguments was like crimes involving guns and drugs and people being like wary of that. What do you think in doing your research? What is the answer to employ this way of thinking, but also deal with crimes that are, scary to the general public or are made that way, like that comment said?
Yeah, so I think that's the challenge of defining justice, right, and navigating that. Because I know my personal opinion, and I think it's challenging. I think it's easy to stand up here and say, I don't, like, a student who brings a gun from school, I don't think they should be suspended. But when it's your school, when it's your environment, right? And that you want to guarantee that balance and that safety. And yeah, it's hard. I don't have a clear answer on that because it's so subjective, right? Because you want to guarantee safety. And safety is also, there's so much subjectivity in what makes you feel safe and what is due diligence and what is justice for different types of people. Is it justice just for the victim but also the offender, right? Because a lot of times people who commit infractions are also victims of harm in different capacities, right? And so I'm sorry that answer was very obtuse.
No, that's exactly what I was saying.
Yeah, just a difficult, it's considering those stakeholders and like who matters more. And that's an unfortunate question that gets asked, and that's how policies get formed, is that this voice takes the table.
A follow-up question.
Yeah.
Is anybody getting this right? Do we have systems, countries, schools that we can look to as models that are doing a better job than we are?
I didn't look at other nations, but I think what makes the U.S. so particularly fascinating is that we have 50 states that operate in different capacities and unique cultures within those states. And even within those communities within those states, like a breakdown of like how local do you want to get. So it's challenging to be like, is there a model we can take from? Because we have the federal, state, and local policies that we're looking at, and the systems. We have those cultures, those values, right? Because restorative justice talks a lot about values over necessarily tangible actions. So it's looking more at what makes sense for your community in order to hold people accountable and address harm rather than giving you a checklist of things to do. And so in looking at that, is it values, is it policies? And like, yeah, it's really challenging to say. I mean, I do think it's a combination of both, that there has to be policies set in place. I would say more so, I would argue more so on the local level because you understand the community you're living in versus like statewide, we just like urban versus rural and like all these different things, like the racial demographic, like we're so very racially segregated as a society, and socioeconomic status is very, all these different factors. I think it should come locally, but I also think it needs to be a reflection of community values. I think those two come into play, but I don't necessarily know how you can get investment in community values. It's not necessarily someone's like, I agree with these things. So yeah, it's a challenge, I think. Yes?
So I know that like a lot of places where this jumping is really a problem, it's also low income areas and things like that where parents are working a lot, and restorative justice, I know, like, involves bringing everyone together to like discuss and go over things. And so I'm wondering how that would fit into two contexts. One of a context where parents have very little time to like actually go and continually work on problems their child might be having. And then also, just because my mom is a teacher, she specifically teaches a class that is largely made up of refugees. And so most of them don't speak English and their families don't speak any English. And they speak languages that it's very hard to get interpreters to come out and do that for us. I was wondering if you know, do you think it would be as effective in those kind of contexts where they do really need a different way of working?
I think, so in terms of the first part of time that parents have, so I talked about the education system, but there's a number of new systems that's happening, right? So reforming the education system doesn't mean that parents can like get off of work at a reasonable hour, right? So how we balance not only education, but employment, right? For parents, particularly mothers, like mothers that are disproportionately affected by the system. That is also like looking at other systems that not only remove students out of the classroom or make education challenging for them, but who else is in play in the community in regards to that relationship. Two, in terms of a classroom of diversity of students, I don't know. And that's like the challenge of education in the U.S. is that it's focused on assimilation. It's focused on it's normalized education because you're trying to teach one type of style to one type of student, but really we all have different education styles and backgrounds. It becomes more challenging when there's language and cultural and all these other differences, right? that clearly aren't being accommodated to you. Like special education, right? Like all these things are not being accommodated to you. And how, I don't think, unfortunately, how punishment is done in schools right now is that it tends to exclude those students more because education isn't made for them, and so like our education system in the U.S. is not made for them, and so they don't know how to operate, and students think that, oh, they're not participating, they're not following the school rules, but it's because the education system isn't made for them, so they're designed not to succeed. And I don't necessarily know if restorative justice, or if there is a practice right now that is inclusive of all students. And it's that challenge of like how subjective it can be, because then it's like, are you tailoring to every individual student? But also, so many students are excluded based on identity, based on where they come from. And I don't know if that exists yet.
Did you read or learn anything about surrounding this conversation with justice and terms of being proactive in raising certain things, or like is there anything about that that implemented in the justice like structure?
Yes. So 80% of, a lot of people say, and this is like from Howard Deer's book, 80% of restorative justice should be focused on learning. Because one of the limitations was talking about implementation is that you can only do it as a tool, it's punitive. And so if I'm only ever sitting and talking to you when you committed an infraction, like, then it's still the same problem, I can only ever interact with you when you've done something wrong, versus students having relationships with different members of the community all the time, right? So you're only investing in me when I'm doing something wrong, and I'm investing in my growth and my development as a student. And so they're really focused on that community building, because then you have an investment in values. It's like, oh, you're invested in me as a person, like you care about me, like I should care about you, and I don't want to harm you. And so that investment makes it a lot easier on the tail end of the 20% of like addressing the harm. But we've already had these established values. We've been in community, we've been investing in you. We're not only waiting for you to do something wrong. We shouldn't be waiting for you to do something wrong. We care about you, and when we do something wrong, we'll have a conversation to bring you back into the values we invested in initially. So that's like a big part of it. Sorry.
I'm curious what role like colleges play in this like ideal. Like, would they also follow that set of values, or would like, because usually when you're in college you're older, would that be like, you know, up to the universities, or what do you think?
Yeah, I don't necessarily know a lot about it in the college context because of how colleges are set up and like semester-based rotations and stuff like that. But I mean, in this sort of to your question earlier about like who is education made for, like who sits in the spaces, if professors and staff members aren't being aware of the diverse nature of our student body, like our student body is like fairly diverse and come from different places and some different languages, right? And so if we aren't being accommodated with those differences, then once again, if we're excluding them for saying, oh, like you're failing this paper because like this is not in your native, like you're not writing it in the native language, right? If you're still excluding them and punishing them because the education system isn't tailored for them, then we're still seeing these punitive things, right? And I think sometimes punitive we most associate with expulsion, detention, but it's things that I would say more broadly push students out of the classroom and make them feel unwelcome and say, what's the point? It's not made for me. So I think in that way, but I don't know in the context of the pipeline itself how that affects college students.
Right, is Dr. Lee, sorry, Dr. Two Rachels here, Dr. Neal. Stoll to confer here. Have a few words to say about your student?
If I don't, will it delay her graduating so she has to stay here?
I know, right? Can you just fail them? Keep them around?
I've been thinking about what to say, and I've really been struggling because this is such a diverse community. I'm so proud of you. I remember when you first came, I remember sitting with you outside of the building with other major, and for a couple of months I've been thinking, like, gosh, I should definitely go to association.